I say don't run, don't you run away. You got to be strong, be fit to swim along. I say don't cry, why you crying now? No tears, mama. I say don't die, don't you die on me. Life is so sweet, I am living along. I say don't fall, don't you fall down. Get up and stand up, it's a new day. Ukishikwa shikamana, you got to be a real one. Woman, no man, don't you worry, that is, don't you worry. Aji Sina, mama, mama Sina, mama. Aji Sina, mama, mama Sina, mama. Aji Sina, mama, mama Sina, mama. Ego be keke, ego be go, ego be keke, ego be go, ego be keke. Life gonna be okay, life gonna be keke, life gonna be okay. Ladies and gentlemen, life is gonna be okay. Whether you're sick, whether you're hungry, you're moving, whether you're naked with no clothes at all. Ego be oh, ego be keke, ego be oh, ego be keke, ego be oh, ego be keke, ego be oh, ego be keke. Life gonna be okay. Uta kulambuta, uta kulambuta, uta kulambuta, uta kulambuta, uta kulambuta, kulambuta, uta kulambuta, kulambuta, uta kulambuta, kulambuta, uta kulambuta, sablenya. Life gonna be okay. Don't cry, it will be keke. I say don't die, life gonna be okay. Don't fall, it will be keke. Life is so sweet, sweet mama. 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 Ego be keke, ego be oh, 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 ego be keke. Life gonna be okay, life gonna be keke, life gonna be okay, life gonna be keke, life gonna be okay, life gonna be keke, life gonna be okay, life gonna be keke. Ego be yeah, life gonna be yeah, life gonna be okay, life gonna be keke, life gonna be okay, life gonna be okay, life gonna be keke, life gonna be okay, life gonna be keke.
Yes, life is gonna be okay. It gonna be KK. It gonna be KK.
Yeah.
It gonna be KK. That is Macadam with it go be KK. And it says it's a Ghana language meaning everything is gonna be okay. All right. So again, welcome once again to Lioness Connection. And yes, we have Macadam, international Kenyan, yes, Kenyan musicians right there. Right now he's in Nairobi, but he's a musician that goes all round. He plays the nyatiti. Nyatiti is a traditional instrument from the Luo land in Kenya, and we're going to talk more about that too. And but before we go on, ladies and gentlemen, let's invite our guest. Let him say hello to the viewers before we continue right here on the Lioness Connection Live. Welcome, our guest.
Hello.
Yes.
Greetings from Nairobi, Kenya.
Yes, greetings from
East of
Nairobi, Kenya.
East of Africa. Yeah.
Yes, East of Africa. Yes, tell us
That
your name so that the viewers can connect with you right here today.
my name is Makadem, Makadem, and I play Nyatiti music. I call the person who plays the Nyatiti music a Nyatitician, but I'm also
Aha.
very vibrant because I'm doing contemporary African music, which has African roots,
Mhm.
but always mixing with other African beats and rhythms, all the way to Western beats and rhythms. So I call it contemporary African music.
Yes, of course, and we hear it, very, very interesting music right there, rich in African culture, rich in everything, the way that you yourself you want us to have it in our ears and in our body, feeling that rhythm.
Yeah.
Yes, you have a story, Makadem. You have a beautiful story, and I know after school, I'm checking your biography, and I've been, I know you from long time ago. We have done music together, we have been places, me and you playing some music, but then again, after school, you're armed with your French language. Then you got to be a tour guide. From a tour guide to an international, musician, So that is a very interesting part of you, being a tour guide. Can you explain to us during the tour guide until 1999 that you made your first single, the Mr. Lololova. People don't know that also you are a reggae musician before. So tell us what happened between you being a tour guide and you recording your first track.
All right. Because I'm a musician by default, although in school, in high school, I used to be in the choir, and I actually had a soprano to a few years before I don't know where it went. Maybe it grew old or it got spoiled along the way. So I'm a tour guide, courtesy of my brother, who was a musician, Albert Adamson. He was a great musician. He died in '98. So Albert gets me the job in Ukunda as a tour guide. But then after a short time, I'm interdicted for a small mistake I did for telling the truth. So I'm interdicted for telling the truth. Me, I didn't know that truth is not what you say as part of your job. So I go asking him for money month one, month two. I think week one, week two, week three says, can't you sing? So I tell him piece of cake. He makes for me a tape. He's 60. I start learning. He invites me. I get sick. So they tell me to hold on, playing kayamba and singing. But then for 3 days, I go back. And then after 3 days, they call me again. They're like, what did you do in the hotel? She said, I'm scared because he's much older than me. He's like 15 years older than me. So I'm like, I did nothing bad. So can you sing? So I sing, I just called to say I love you. I sing Wantanamera. I sing Malaika. I sing Jambo Jambo. So he looks at me and says, oh dear, now you have to come with us. The management won't allow us. So I tried to refuse, but of course the money was good back then. So eventually I get into their band. It was an acoustic band. We're playing at White Sands. We're playing at Le Soleil. We're playing at, African Safari Club. All those places, just doing cover. And then Hardstone happens. So when Hudson happens, it pulls me towards, okay, I like this because I was already thinking of doing my own music. And I'd composed some of them, by the way, for some reason. I call them Anglo-Hangla, Anglo-Benga, because they were more targeting Luo people. But in English, that's why I call them Anglo-Benga and Anglo-Hangla. Talk about 97. So I dropped into music around 95, towards the end. And by 97, I'm already writing my Anglo-Bengas. Then there was this guy in Pressman, no, Pioneer Band. There was their main singer. He loved rapping the ragas, like Mada She Wrote and Watabambam. So I get into that first, based on
Mhm.
that main singer. I've forgotten his name, but he was the main singer of the
Moses,
Pioneer Band.
Moses, Moses,
Yes. So
the
he
late
met,
Moses.
yeah, because now I wanted to do those things that he could do them. Then I went into also doing Mada She Wrote, Watabambam. I went much further, like the one the one that was done by the girls who were singing with Shabaranks, Mada He Wrote. and I did all those sorts of things. And then now, when now Hudson happens, I was ready for it. So that's how I got to write Mr. Lololova.
Mm.
And I went around, I went to sing sound. They didn't like me. I didn't know how to dress. I came back. I went to Madebe. Madebe did for me a demo. Then one time at Moonlight Shop in Mombasa, I see a card by Nabil Sansul. So I call Nabil. Nabil says, come over. And I go to Nabil. And immediately I start doing Mr. Lololova. He says, I have a beat that can accompany it. Because that time, Mysterious Girl was hitting, Alalalalang was hitting, and my style was flowing those chords. So Nabil says, I have a beat that can go with that. And then he plays it and I just flow it. So he invites me to start performing with him at Bamburi Beach I think it was every Sunday. And then he records it. And then he calls Greg Murray at Metro Nairobi. That's how I got into Mr. Lolova thing.
Yeah, and Mr. Alova gave you, the best of, it branded you, as you say yourself. The track Lolova, it branded you as a reggae artist, And is that what took you to categorizing for Gregory Isaac? We're talking about Maxi Priest. We're talking about multiculture, yeah?
Much more than Mr. Lolova in terms of reggae, because I first went into raga, dance hall, then I went hip hop.
Mm.
And then with time, I became friends with people like Full Stop. And so I started going much into real reggae music, actually. And that's how SHASHAMANE, when SHASHAMANE discovered me, they began inviting me. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how you get to Gregory Isaac now.
Yes. So SHASHAMANE, they're the ones who brought
Gregory
Gregory
Isaac
Isaac.
was brought with SHASHAMANE. Mm.
Yes. And they also brought Mighty Culture. And then they brought Glenn Washington.
Yeah.
So each time they brought a reggae artist, they would invite me.
Yeah, of course. And that gave you a milestone, we can say, between those years, a lot passed by, of course, yeah? A lot passed by, of course. And I know you've had also misfortunes, like, somebody sponsoring you an album, and then, because of payment, the album did not come through. I don't know what you did after that.
The Mr. Lolova one. I first did Mr. Lolova with Nabil without management. Then later, these guys who are managing New Bamburi Water Sports loved the song. And then now they took me. And then I told them, instead of going to Nairobi, we can just record with Nabil Sansul. So they enter into an agreement, of which, I don't know whether it was 300,000 or it was how much. So they gave Nabil half of it back then in 2000. But now when the other half never came, so Nabil held that Jambambu album to date. It was a 10-track album to date. It was never released. That had Mr. Lolova. Yeah, it was 10 track. And it had many other songs, actually, up to 10. But most of them were a bit hip-hop and a bit R&B. Dancehall was basically 2 only. I went so much towards hip-hop and R&B, actually, at the time, because at the time my voice was very high. I would do soprano and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember also my first album was a mixed thing, so I can get exactly where you come from there.
Yeah, I was a mix. And when it didn't happen with Nabil, actually, first I broke out with the management, the New Bamburi Water Sports. Then now I went back into my hotel thing. Then I was like, no, I need to go to Nairobi. I'm talking about 2002, 2003. So 2003, I hit the road to Nairobi. 2004, I settled in Nairobi. And I'm trying to come in as Mr. Lololova, but it's not working. I went through almost all the studios you can name at the time that were doing all this club music, but I wouldn't get anybody interested in me. I only got a few offers. Bruce offered me a single for free. I did Aisha for free. Aisha was done by, at that time, Aaron Rimbui and Bandugi Digital were working were working for Bruce. So they did it more like a bounce. But the beat was a mix of what was raga at the time but with a bit of R&B and hip hop, if you listen to Aisha. And then later I paid Bruce for another one. And then also Bruce Ezra also gave me a free song, but none of them wanted really to work with me as an artist. So at the times when I realized that I had Tabu Osusa's card, so I call him and he meets me and he wants to record me because he had just done Gidi Gidi and Maji Maji in one of his, in two of the albums he had done, Kalapapla and Kaboom Boom. So I tell him, by the way, I don't only rap, I also do African music. So he says like what kind of music? So I sing for him 2 songs from Anglo Angla and Anglo Bengals. He's like, dude, no, I don't want to record that dancehall. I want this. So that's how I got now into now what we call Afrofusion back then, before the Burna Boys ran away with the name, and now we are nameless.
You have the Nyatiti, and of course, now, but then, were you playing the Nyatiti already?
No, I began Nyatiti in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was playing guitar, and not really as professional, but I would just, which I still do, just do my own music, vamping and sing.
Yeah.
And then around 2007, I began playing kalimba, the thumb piano, when I was going to South Zabusara. So I first had an interest in Nyatiti in 2008. I even bought one. Then I ended up, when I came to Europe, gave it as a present to some French media person. But now in 2013, Ketebul had one they had gotten from Okumu Korengo, who had taught Anyango Nyar Japan, the Japanese lady. So they went with the Ketebul music, went doing a documentary on Nyatiti music with Abu Bila and singing wells from England. And so Tabu Osusa was given a present of a big Nyatiti, which you see the Nyatiti plays very big. It's rarely, it's not easy to get that size now because the government of Kenya has banned the felling of bigger trees. So he's handed over this. So I'm like, Tabu, give me this. I want to learn. He's like, do you really want to learn? I'm like, so I take him for after some time, he gives it to me. And then I go to Oduori Nyagweno, who is a Nyatiti musician who lives in Nairobi. And he gave me a few lessons. So that's how I took off in 2014. But it was not until 2017 that I became really serious with it. In 2017, I realized, I think, as an artist, you're growing older, you need to reinvent and do things that you're not really that tough guy on stage. You can just sit and sing like Ayub. You know, that's actually what took me to the Nyatiti. Yeah.
Exactly. And somebody saying, me comment hapo, huyu ni wa kitambo. Yes, ni wa kitambo. That's why Lioness Live Connection is right here, to bring you people, to make you understand and also be an inspiration, to the younger generation who, whether it doesn't matter which kind of music, but it's the journey that is important, it's the journey that is important. It's good to learn where people come from, what they do. You understand? You cannot just become, an international musician, in a day. You understand? So Makadem is here to teach us and share his journey with us because he is an international musician. He plays outside Kenya. He comes to Europe. He goes outside Kenya. He visits African countries, and he does not stop when he's at home. He tours also, locally. You just see him; he's very busy. And I also compliment him every time because the power that he has, the energy that he has, and the inspiration himself that he has to move forward, to go forward it's a very, very interesting one. And I know at your time, I know you were with also the latest pressure at that time, they were just like you, trying to look for ways, to get out there. How was it, seeing Poxy at that time, seeing other musicians also with Poxy, running up and down, trying to get those shows, the disappointments, of course, and the success, of course, at that time. How was it for you guys?
I first met Poxy when I was under the management of New Bamburi Water Sports in Mombasa. But at that time, everything was okay for me. I didn't know their life. We did not really become very close until when I moved into Nairobi, 2003, 4. through via Tabu, because Tabu was Husa, I was also working with Poxy Pressure. And then we just clicked, and basically he just took over. He started getting me to booking agents who were there at the time, the ones who were getting gigs, like if Uchumi was opening something in different towns, and we'd go there and perform playback. But Poxy was in a different level. Me, I was kind of an emerging pop artist. And so him, he was already established, had a big name in Nairobi, was getting bigger gigs. Me, I was just looking for these small ones. But he managed to introduce me to Sarakasi Trust back then. I got to Kaboom Boom and Face to Face, who were booking artists a lot with their most of the gigs that were booking all over the country. And yeah, and I stayed with Poxy, by the way, in his house for quite a while. We would go drinking. When I met somebody, it's funny, by the way, that you're asking. Someone meets me and says, "You look like so and so." We are at Choma's in Donholm, and Poxy has taken me. I was like, "You look like so and so," and he's mentioning my stepsister, and then I say, "Yeah, that's my stepsister." Then he mentioned, and I said, "That's my stepbrother." Then he mentioned now my brother. Then he says, "You don't know this name?" I say, "I know that name." He said, "But then you are my cousin," because he was more closer to my stepmom. But I know the name because when I was growing up, that name pops up. They say, "So where are you staying?" I'm staying with this gentleman. No, you can't stay with people, and I'm here. You know. And he was living in a big house in Greenfield. So that's how I moved from Poxy to his house. And then later Tabu gave me a house, and then I just became a man of my own. But even before I got that, Full Stop also came into the picture. And I never liked staying out in the night because going to Greenfield was hard by Matatu. So Full Stop like, no, let's go to, there was this reggae club that Jack Marley was playing in. What was its name? Hollywood. Yeah. So MC Full Stop says, no, you don't need to go early. We'll go and sleep at my boy's place. So we're going to hang out in Hollywood till late. He knows how to get back to where they were staying in the Manyanja Road. And then I start staying with Full Stop and Okelo, who is Poxy Pressure's cousin. Then now I got from my cousin, then to Full Stop and Poxy's cousin back again. And then now I got my own place. So now then I became a man of my own. But it wasn't like now back then, because I think the Poxys were really struggling with how to get gigging. It wasn't like now. Things were, right now, artists who are doing pop don't really know the struggle that the pop artists of the Poxy Pressure generation had. That route wasn't there. It was not really there because you're struggling with radios to play you. They were starting just to understand playing what they called local music. You're struggling getting gigs that pay well, and things like tours were not there. It's different right now. I mean, when you have a name like me, it's much easier for me to get booked than at the time when Poxy was having a bigger name.
Yeah, exactly. Because now we have maybe some agencies, people, the scouts around. It has opened up a little bit,
not that time. It has opened up a lot. That even people actually even respect it, because I see Nairobi now, they even book the pop artists for small spaces. They probably just agree with them for a smaller fee, not expecting the big fee of a big pop star like KBL or Coca-Cola would pay them, or Safaricom, because I mean you can't expect that in a small lounge.
Yeah.
But it's much better than between 2005 and 2012 there.
Yeah, exactly. One more question before I want the viewers to, of course, to listen to one of your songs. But one more question before we do that, we take that break. So now you're in Nairobi, things are opening. You're on your own, as you say, and now you're working. Were you working now with Ketable straight away, or you were still on your own, as you don't have anybody, you're looking for your gigs, or you had Ketable by your side at that time?
I worked with Ketable between 2005 to 2014, 2015, 16 there. Then but I also worked with One World Music Production by Carolina Vallejo from Denmark between 2010 and 2014, concurrently. That's how I managed to come to Europe and establish my roots. That is really helping me now. But ever since, I've been just on my own since 2017. I get most of my giggings in Europe, they're not really from booking agents. They're more relationships. The way I know you, and then you can hook me up somewhere, things like that. So sometimes it's hard for me when I meet artists and they want me to help them out. I'm like, it's not easy for me to hook you up with gigs in Europe because they're more based on relationships. Like the people who know you, it's not like I have a booking agent. No, I just have experience and I know people and people know me. So I'm able to do that. So the thing is, I'm on my own, but I still look at Ketable as home. To me, Tabu Susa is more than a person I worked with. Ketable Music is more than a studio. To me, it's just home. I don't need a contract to work with them. I'm always with Tabu when I'm free. I'm like, hey, where are you? You know, we're meeting, we're drinking, we're talking, we're planning. Like right now, he's proposed me for Anyango Nyar Japan is coming for a tour. Ketable Music has helped her to write her book on NYATITI, how she knows it, and I'm the one who's going to perform most of the time when she's here. So you see, there's that relationship still there.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, viewers, we're going to take a break, and I need you to listen to one of Kadem's vibe. This one is Ban Piende. Yeah, Ban Piende. When we come back, we're going to talk about Ban Piende before we continue. So listen to this one and enjoy yourself, and let us know in the comments section how you're receiving us and how do you like this music from Makadem. All right, let's go.
I wore, and I wore, yeah, I wore, and I wore, yeah, I wore. Bana piende, 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 bana piende. Onyolore Otieno, she was born late in the night. Her mother was a proud woman, she walked, Her father was a tough man, he walked, She said, he said, I wore my daughter. He said, she said, you grow up to be a lactar. She said, he said, I wore my daughter. He said, she said, you grow up to be a lactar. Aworo went to school in the village, Boro Nursery School, Boro Primary School, in the village, Boro Secondary School. Aworo went to the city, Nairobi University School, Boro Primary School, in the village, Boro Secondary School. Ban piende, ban piende, ban piende, ban piende, ban piende, ban piende, ban piende. Ban piende, ahora oro, en ahora oro, ahora oro, ya ahora oro, ahora oro, en ahora oro, ahora oro, ya ahora oro. Ban piende, to ban piende, to ban piende, wololo. Nairobi, she's in the university. Mielo Chandogo, but her father wanted a doctorate. She loves the dance floor, but her mother wanted a degree. Brings a degree home. Is a doctorate. Yelele, parents are too proud. So dances away so big. Carries the day. She gets a good pay. internationally every day. Yelele, 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 villages to proudly. Ban piende, 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 ban piende. Ahora, ahora, and ahora, 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 ya ahora, 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 and ahora, 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 ya ahora, ahora. Ban piende, ahora, ahora, ban piende, ahora, ahora, ban piende, ahora, ahora, ban piende, ban piende. Aworo went to school. Aworo went to the city. Aworo went to Nairobi. Aworo, she's in the university. Aworo went to school. Aworo went to the city. Aworo went to Nairobi. Aworo, she's in the university. With a tombo shoe. With a tombo shoe. With a tombo shoe. Aworo with a tombo shoe. Are you dancing? Are you bouncing? Are you jumping? Are you bumping? Are you dancing? Are you bouncing? Are you jumping? Are you bumping with a tombo shoe? With a tombo shoe? With a tombo shoe? I want to with a tombo shoe, you bouncing. Are you jumping? Are you bumping? Are you dancing? Are you bouncing? Are you jumping? Are you bumping?
Wow, 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 wow. All right, that is Ban Piende. Ban Piende, that is the works of Macadam, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I just saw fire emojis, fire emojis, fire emojis. You know, people are liking the NYATITI music right here on the Lioness. Yes, live here connection. And of course, from Mombasa, people are there. Simon Sido is there. Simon Duarte says he's live from Mirema Roxford right here in Stockholm City. And of course, we have also Amuka Sasa said, hey, Macadam is in the house. I have young producer from Mombasa also, Madafo, you know, he's inside. Dania Nyumba anasema, yes, I have, Maxwell, a young brother there from Mombasa also, he's on and says, blessed love, blessed love, blessed love. So, Ban Piende. Let's talk about Ban Piende. I'm hearing a story inside this Ban Piende. Yeah?
Yeah, Ban Piende is a song I did when I was stuck in Denmark in 2020 because of COVID. Because there were no flights back. And Ban Piende means, ban in Luo means fold. So Amuka knows what it means. Ban, Piende. So ban is fold. Piende are skins. But you know, Luo people have refused to upgrade the word for beddings. Because traditionally people slept on skins. As we still call beddings skins to date. A duvet is a skin, a mattress is a skin. So we refuse to give them new names. So Ban Piende, fold your bedding. The song is composed because I met this guy called Edem. Edem is a Kenyan artist living in the US. And he likes collaborating with artists. So while I was there, he knew about Salam, which I'd done earlier, a house electronic. So tells me, I get this in my spam on IG. I would like to work with you on a song that looks like Salam. So I told him, no, it doesn't have to look like Salam. It will depend on the idea. So he has this idea about a girl who wants to be a dancer, but her parents want her to be a doctor. The usual thing, you know, in Africa. So this girl, as opposed to most girls, she becomes a doctor first, brings a degree home, then she hits the dance floor, becomes world famous, and the parents again support her. Typical. And the reason Edem is doing this is because of his shoe brand called Tombo Shoes. You'll hear it like a Tombo shoes. Are you dancing? You know, and it's the very shoes we are using in the video. So those are his shoes, his brand. So he collaborates with artists to promote his own shoe brand called the Tombo Shoes. So we agree. He sends me money. He pays the studio, and I worked with one of the famous DJs in Europe called Fafanessa. Fafanessa is actually who recorded Natasha and Beanie Man on Better Than Them. If you know the song Better Than Them, yeah, Fafanessa is the one who, because Fafa was managing Natasha, and Natasha brought Beanie Man, and that's how they did Better Than Them. So that's how when he came to Africa, he knew Abby, but then Abby brings this to the studio, and Fafa is asking Abby, why you bring Makadem, who does contemporary African music, to do dancehall? And Abby tells him, you don't know Makadem. So we did actually a song that with the Better Than Them beat that never went anywhere. It's called Hot Like a Fire. So Hot Like a Fire, which was not NYATITI, but it looks like. So that's how I came to know Fafa. So whenever I go to Europe, I always record with him. That's so when Adam sent me money, we agreed, and he's the executive producer and my partner. And that's the song now I wrote based on an idea I'd given me, Ban Piende.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 2020.
That's 2020. But you recorded it while you were in Denmark, or after you came to Kenya?
I did
in
the
Denmark.
audio in Denmark and the video in Nairobi.
Okay. I remember you used also to advertise those shoes.
Yes. So
Yeah, I even asked you this shoe. Yeah, I remember very well. But then again, let's talk about, of course, you're talking about Denmark. We're already there in Denmark. We have seen you doing a tour, European tour. We have seen you in Ibiza. We've seen you in Ibiza, one day you're here, the next day you're there, the next day. And then, I love your touring. You're just a free man. A free man. If you have to take the bus, you take the bus to reach there. If you have to take the train, you take the train to reach there. If you have to take the flight, you take the flight to reach there. As long as you go, the job is done. And that is the spirit, of a musician. That is the spirit of somebody who wants something, determination, So how has it been? I remember talking to you last year, and you said, okay, you're taking a pause a little bit, and you'll be back, to do the Europe tour again. Yeah, but we have seen you like 3 years continuous. You're there in Europe, And how has it been? How the audience, your connections, how have they been? And you taking a pause, are they accepting that pause, waiting for you to come along again, or what is happening right now?
My connections in Europe are relationships. So these are friends who really want to see me grow. So they're not taking it in a bad way, because my reason is I want to do a NYATITI album. In fact, I want to do 3. And before I do that, I don't really want to hit Europe with it's the same music, but I want it now packaged. And then of course I also want to try get a booking agent and stuff like that. But I didn't think that I will do 2 years in a row. I thought by last year I would have recorded, and this year I would have been back on track. But I'm yet even to record. So that's a story for another day. But
that's a story for another day.
Yeah, but I'm working with the different different producers. Like I'm now working with the Hummingbird, which is a label in England, and they keep sending me stuff to try out. But that's more like they want Afro beats and Afro house. And then the new one, which I did with Kronan, who is a Swedish artist like you.
Yeah.
The Maisha one that we just released 2 weeks ago, that is now really doing very well on Spotify. So I have those singles coming up, several of them. But what is keeping me here is just because I want an album, and a proper NYATITI album, and NYATITI jazz, and NYATITI tronic, which is me and DJs, NYATITI acoustic, like what Ayu Bogada was doing with Koth Biru. So I have these 3 sets that I want to do, and I want to do them really well, because I've learned from the best. Europe teaches. I always tell people Europe will humble you as an artist. Because back home here, people think being an artist is just being a pop star, you know, riding on planes or limousine. But Europe teaches you that you can take a bus, you can take a train, you can take that plane. That plane also is just it's just a means of traveling.
Yeah.
You know, like when I went to Ibiza, because going to Ibiza was courtesy of Katana Garama. And Katana connected me to this friend of his who is the son of a huge hotelier. They have like a chain of hotels in Ibiza. So they got like bring him home. So that's how I got to Ibiza. Yeah, but thanks to him, because me, I didn't know this guy, but he knew that if I connect marketing, because at first he was wary of, he thought I'm bringing the Hanglaman style or just acoustic Nyatiti, until I told him I do electronic music Afro house, and says which one. So when I said, wow, this is what Ibiza is all about.
Yeah,
and luckily he's a DJ also. So it's like when I went the second time, 2023, we actually now he was out now working with me. He would give me the beats, and then I'll just play Nyatiti on top. And sometimes he would bring the Senegalese guys with their drums and stuff. And it was just awesome. Yeah.
This is one thing I would like. I would like our artists to understand. You know, the situation. You can create the situation, and you can get the people. You know, you can create the situation. You can get the people. Right here, Macadam today. If you see Macadam, if you follow him, Macadam has different situations, different setups every time. You know, he goes to perform. You can see him with the band. It depends with the situation. You can see him alone. You know, we call him the lone buffalo of Nyatiti music. You know, you can see him alone. You can see him with a DJ doing the Nyatiti tronics, you know, because he creates the situation, and that's why he never misses, you know, chances. And that's what we do as musicians, because we can stay and wait for one thing to happen, you know. If we are called and tell, can you do a duo, you know, one performance? You say yes, we can do that. You know, create it and go there. People are there. In Ibiza, we saw Macadam doing all this stuff with the guys, or you know, the percussions, and him with the Natiti. And we saw the tourists there, they were dancing and they were enjoying the music, because it's a different taste that was brought into them at that time. They're enjoying their holidays, you know, they're having their drink, and this is something that, you know, out of the blue, Macadam is there, you know, and they really appreciate it. So we have to think out of the box every time. Otherwise, we'll sleep the whole year without doing nothing, and we call ourselves artists, you know. So we have to be there, and of course, you have to push yourself every time, every time. Tell the viewers. Somebody, Ann Kamau here, was saying that amejikuta akikatika, akidance when the music was playing. You know, when the music is playing. Yes, you can follow Macadam. Macadam has the music there, you know, on YouTube, Spotify, everywhere, digital platforms. Go there, you know, and listen, you know, enjoy, sometimes change and understand people, you know, what they do, in fact, in Kenya. You know, I call him international musician because I've seen him making those tapes as an international, you know, musician. You know, let's talk about the Nyatiti Tronics. You know, there was a time also I was asking, what is this Nyatiti Tronics? Can you tell the viewers what Nyatiti Tronics is all about?
Nyatiti, of course, is the 8-stringed lyre, the Luo lyre. And then the tronic, which is the electronic side. So I created this word, just like I created the word Ohangla man. Ohangla and the man. So Nyatiti tronic, it means Nyatiti in-house electronic beats. The way you are hearing band P&A.
Yeah.
There's some of them that, like Igobikeke has another version that is very EDM. You know, so those are the ones I call Nyatiti Tronic. They're basically, it's me on the Nyatiti, a DJ producer beats, because it's better when you're working with the DJ producer, not just a DJ, but a DJ who knows how to produce music. So Nyatiti, DJ producer as your band, and percussion. And nowadays at home, I do like a 4-piece or 5, me, DJ producer, percussionist, and then a female singer. And by the way, it comes out as a whole band. And I learned it when I toured England with DJ Issa back in 2015. And we would actually go after big band and still raise the same energy. Because see, the DJ beat comes with a lot of heaviness and all that. And the nyatiti being the monotone instrument that works for the house electronic beats, you know. So basically, nyatititronics, just nyatiti, me and my vocals, and the rhythm inside DJ beats and effects. And so you get that. Like if you listen to, for example, Igo Bikeke has an electronic version, which it has nyatiti and everything, but it's just, or Nyako, or Banpiende, or Plandemic, they are all nyatititronics because they're just nyatiti and DJ electronic beats and effects. That's what it is.
Yeah, and it's very interesting how you've turned that instrument, to a whole, a whole package.
Yeah,
A whole
it
package,
is.
because people are used to nyatiti. People are used to nyatiti just to hear nyatiti, somebody just sitting there and just playing the nyatiti and singing maybe in Luo, But here you are, you have expanded, the nyatiti music to another world altogether. Some people don't understand you, maybe especially from your home area. They don't understand you maybe, and because they want you to remain in the traditional way of nyatiti. Is that true?
Yeah, I have a problem with them, by the way. They think I'm a spoiler. They think I'm not being serious. I've even met young people who think what I'm doing is very wrong. Very, very young people in their late 20s, early 30s, they think what I'm doing. And what I always tell them is, do you know who put the fish strings in the nyatiti? Because the what you call traditional does not have those strings. It had the animal tendons. And so the tension was not that good. So in the 70s, probably, some other guy there like me realized that the fish nylon strings would work better. Why? Because music is dynamic. And people bring these arguments is because they don't even know history. People always think what they found is what was there during Adam and Eve. No. If you listen to what I'm lucky being an artist in Kettle because some of these things came, some South African art scholar came to Kenya in the 1940s and 50s and recorded all Kenyan music and went back with them to Johannesburg. So around 2015, 16, that university, this guy is long dead, decided that they'll repatriate that music back to the families of those musicians. If you listen to the nyatiti that was recorded in the 50s, it sounds totally something else. It does not sound like what is being played now. And the point is, every generation does its own thing.
Yeah.
People look at the Gen Z now. The Gen Zs are not inventing anything. They're just doing their own thing the way they want it. The millennials did what they wanted. The Xs did what they wanted. The baby boomers did what they wanted. And the story goes on and on and on and on. The Stone Age guys did what they wanted. They walk neck the way they wanted. So what people forget is music is not static. It's dynamic. It keeps moving. And recently somebody asked me that, do you think there's a clash between technology and tradition or innovation and tradition? I said, there's no clash. There can never be a clash because necessity is the mother of invention. How would I be talking to you right now? You're in Stockholm and me, I'm here. We would wait for 8 months for a letter to come and a letter to come back. What if the boat capsizes and the letter disappears? You see, so will we say that it is not our tradition to use a phone? We need to go on top of the mountain and shout or put smoke. Why do people think that dressing, even dressing itself, me have challenged people. If you see a Maasai, the way they're dressed, or a traditional Giriama person or a traditional Sudanese dressed in skins and stuff, it was not the musicians who dressed like that. Everybody dressed like that because that's what it is. So today, don't tell me that because I'm playing nyatiti, I have to dress like that. You also dress like that because we were all in the same dressing when that was happening. But times have changed. Now we are putting on jeans, we're putting on anything. And people think these things are Western. They're not Western, they're modern. So my argument is always that they're modern, they're not Western. Europeans were not born with cars, were they? They also lived in grass-thatched houses. They walked naked. They used the skins. They invented these things with time. It's just modernity. So People think when you put a pickup on a Nyatiti, you are spoiling it. How am I going to use it in a festival? For example, I'll tell you the story of the guitar, the pegs. Even the guitar was not invented with the pegs in the 16th century. No. When I go to Zanzibar, the traditional way of tuning those raffias, because of the humidity of the coastline, Mombasa, Lamu, Kilifi, Diani, Dar es Salaam, Zanzibar, they get stuck on the bar. Where's it? You can't tune. Then 2020, just before COVID, I had two movements in Europe. I first went for a conference in Davos, high up those mountains in Switzerland. Do you know what happened in the Nyatiti? It just opened. Wow. I think the wood got so cold that it shrunk. Yeah. In the middle, I was doing Nyatitronic, me and the DJ there. It just opened. Luckily, I poured some beer on it and it took it back and it agreed. But since I was working with the DJ, because we were working in a party, so we are playing and drinking. So I poured the beer on it. Something that Nyagweno, my teacher, had told me that you can always pour water and then you try to bring it back. It will help. Yeah. So but immediately I landed back, I just went and removed the traditional tuning. Yeah. Because first in Zanzibar, it has ripped up my fingers, my skin on the palm, trying to force it. The skin just came out. And then now in Switzerland, it opens, reverses. So I'm like, how do you work like that? So necessity is what makes you do what you do. So those who think that this is our tradition, they should go back and just stay in a cave. Yeah. Because everything we've done, even building a grass-thatched house, is modernity. Yes.
Yeah, of
going
course.
into a car
we
is
evolve, and embrace, what
exactly.
is there now. Exactly.
We're now talking with you in English. Why? You speak Taita, me I speak Dolgo. How are we going to speak?
We have to have a common ground.
We have to have a common ground. Probably would have used Swahili.
Yeah. Yeah, I see Peter there with the, of course, fire emojis right there. People are there, commenting and really liking, the conversation, especially what you're telling us. Your journey has been long, and of course, we appreciate, your journey. Before you go, Macadam, we can talk for 2 hours because, I love your story. I love your story. And just to ask you this, what do you think about the, AI with the music? What is happening now with the artificial intelligence, with all this music stuff and us creators, what do you think?
I don't know. I'm not using it yet. I'm so old-fashioned. I'm so not tech. But me, I don't think it's scaring me. Because I tend to think the song Maisha was created, either somebody wrote it, because when they shared it to me, it was already sung. Probably it was AI, I don't know. Yeah. Then they wanted a real Swahili musician, a real Swahili speaking artist from East Africa to now handle it. And that already tells you that the machines cannot take away anything from us. They will just make it easy for us. Me, I don't think we should be scared of them.
Yeah, even me, I don't think so. And of course, I'm against some stuff, the stuff that like Spotify has an AI artist and taking all the, all the cash. You understand what I'm saying? Those kind of things I'm against. And maybe I think we are more traditional in the recording studios. Also, you and me, those who do their own backing vocals. You understand? In fact, I remember I did one of your backings, and I was still at the beginning. I'm still learning how to do backup vocals. It was not easy for me at Ketable Studio with the song Priscilla, your song, and of course, and I've been used to that. And I remember the late also Teddy Kalanda was like, you have to learn this. You have to learn this. I didn't see why I should do it, but I came to understand it's very important for an artist to learn to do the backing vocal by themselves. You can hire people to do them as long as they come and sing physically. But now, like AI, you just put it there and they do the backing voice, blah, 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 and then maybe on the live performance, you'll be having problems because you can't bring out whatever, you put with the AI and everything. You understand? Maybe that's why I'm against, this kind of issues. And of course, Makadam, we are happy you've been here. Maybe you can share, your last, let's see, parting shots. Talk to the musicians out there, young ones, especially, those who are upcoming. They want to join, the music. Generally, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're doing NYATITI music, reggae music, pop, Afro pop, Afrofusion, whatever you are doing, or you're coming up with another, type of music. What do you think they should know about, the music journey?
What I've learned along the way is there's nothing wrong with any style you want. That's you. You have your own name, you have your own likes and dislikes. Music to me is like food. This issue of people saying that my mother's food is the best is that something I never agree with. I mean, everybody will say that my mother's food is the best. But point is, the success in music, which also the word success brings a lot of problems. People think success is merely being paid big. But I tend to think it's your satisfaction. Did I do well? Did you manage to get inroads? That's your success. So music, you have to have the product. For example, my product, the recorded, for example, band P&A, audio, video. That is one. That's the product. Then product number 2, you are live on stage. That's another product. That's why you see people always tend to complain about pop artists failing in the product number 2, the live one. Like you're saying about the AI one. You've made it with the AI, how we're gonna do it live. So product number 1 is the recorded production. Product number 2 is you live. That is an act of what you did in the recording. Then product number 3, this is actually I'm talking about the products. So you have your recorded, you have your live on stage, and then there is you as a person, as Lioness. How do you look? How do you dress? What mostly companies would endorse. They give you money because of the way you dress, the way you look. So those are your products. But now, once you have your product in place, the recorded, the live on stage, the luku, the person, the brand, there comes now the business. It's a story we've been discussing in one of the WhatsApp groups that I started called Made in Mombasa. And there's a war between a millennial, an older millennial, and a younger millennial in Mombasa. They're fighting something there that whose story I can't comment because I don't know what is the source of their fight. But I've asked them what is the story here. And Fundi Frank came and said, artists should realize that at the end of the day, it's how you're doing your business. The business of that music. And I know you understand this. You've been doing this. This thing is not just, you have tomatoes. How do they get to the market? Ukona mihogo. You have cassava. Whom are you selling them to? You have to have that business side, the management side. You don't have management side. Manage yourself. Because people say, if you tell people, I don't have a manager, they think you're amateur or you are incompetent. And I always tell upcoming artists, don't say you don't have a manager. Say, I manage myself. Because that's exactly what you're doing. So now if somebody wants to work for you or to work with you, then they take it from there. But don't say, I don't have a manager. Always say, I manage myself. Because you're not dealing with another person, but you're still doing that job. So good product, good management, good luck to you.
Because it's very important if you learn also the management yourself before when you get, to a manager. You understand? Because you know the business already. And if you don't know what happens, in a management, it's very simple. you can get in contact, with people like Macadam, me, people who have been there, and ask, listen, how can I do this? Maybe I got a call from this person. How can I answer to this call? How can I present myself? Give him, the requirements, to go forward, with maybe a booking or something like that. It's not very easy. I mean, not very easy, not very hard, but you can do it. If you have
Yeah.
any question, go to people, all the people who are in the music business. Ask them. Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
Ask them so that you can know, what happens, in this music business. Yes, Macadam, thank you so much for being here. And of course, my producers are telling me that they found another song for you, and they will play it immediately after we say goodbye here. So I want to say thank you so much for being here, and of course, respect to your journey. And the journey continues until the end. It doesn't end here or today or tomorrow. We are here to stay. We are tired of people telling us, you're all musicians. No, we are here to stay. We are seeing even international old people, they're still there, So
Kenya, Kenya has a problem. I'm sorry to bring. Kenya thinks that music is for young people.
Yeah.
It's because Kenya doesn't have a lot of Mzengala. Kenya doesn't have a lot of Teddy Kalandas. They are very few. And most of Bara does not have Mzengala, because they always give up and become religious, start fearing to die.
Yeah.
So they don't have the story of what is happening in the West, whereby Mickey Jagger is in, 80 and still performing.
Yeah, still performing.
Whereby in Cuba, I mean, they look at Kofi Olomide and they will always say, "Oh, Babus." I mean, you even get angry with a musician for staying long. I mean, you wonder what do you close your shop because you're old?
No, you don't close your shop because you're old. You continue selling products until the end day. Yes. So thank you so much, Macadam. Thank you so much for being here. And of course, the music will be on right here after this one for Macadam. So stay here, watch the music. And I want to say also thank you, big up to our producers, behind the scenes right there, the engineers, SHASHAMANE International. This is Lioness. Connection Live comes every Sunday, 7 p.m. Europe time and 8 p.m. of course, East African time. And today, Macadam was here. NYATITI Music, ladies and gentlemen, go and follow him. Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, he's there. Facebook, he's there. He does not rest. He posts like every 2 seconds on Facebook. We are still, watching it. Going through. So thank you so much. And of course, guys, thank you for tuning in. Butere Gas, I saw you. Nati Kingman, thank you so much for being here. And I say bye-bye, ciao, and see you next Sunday. Thank you so much.
Ototo